Welcome to another edition of the Hawk Off the Press podcast. I'm your host, Gazette Hawkeyes reporter, John Steffi. I am excited to be joined by Scott Ramsey this week, the CEO of the Music City Bowl, which, as our listeners are well aware of, is where Iowa is heading in a few weeks for December 31st against Kentucky on ABC. Scott, thanks for joining me. So, first of all, as you're going into the bowl selection process, what stands out to you as you're looking at a team like Iowa?
Well, first and foremost, I think the fan base. They're pretty legendary in postseason college football and in college athletics about just being loyal, and a lot of them, and they travel and they support their team. And certainly, I think they were one of the programs that really excited us about our partnership with the Big Ten and aligning with the Big Ten a few years ago. We were with the Big Ten earlier in our formation as a bowl, but now that our city's much different as a destination, we were really excited. And I was one of those fan bases that we were always looking forward to hosting. And this will be our first time after the unfortunate cancellation we had in the COVID year a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you almost got them before, and then COVID gets in the way. So now you finally have your chance.
We do, and I think just a lot of respect for Gary Barta and Coach Ferentz and in the relationship that we've started to build with them through the Big Ten, but also individually. So we're looking forward to it. And again, I think with Nashville being accessible, just being where we are geographically, that gives a lot of opportunities for fans who otherwise maybe couldn't hop on a plane and go for a week. Other places could hop in the car and get down here and visit our great city.
Is that something that you're keeping in mind with these matchups when you've got Iowa, which is a long drive, but still drivable, and Kentucky, obviously neighboring state, very drivable?
Yeah, it is. I think, in the 25 years, this is our 25th anniversary, and I've been fortunate to be here through all 25 years. I think you've seen a change in fans' travel habits. When we started, we were one of the outliers. Hey, we weren't in South Florida or South Texas or Phoenix or Southern California. So we had a little bit of a unique marketing challenge there. But now I think you see fans really looking for that 3 or 4 day getaway. And we've seen that whether it be sporting events, music events, or just tourism in general really benefit our city, especially from the Midwest. We've seen a lot of people move here from the Midwest, and certainly the accessibility to most all of the schools in the Big Ten is relatively easy. And we've seen that shorter travel window really benefit our city.
And then for people who aren't familiar with the bowl selection process, how much of this is something that happens? Obviously, everyone finds out that Sunday, but how much of this is in the works in the days and weeks leading up to this as well?
Yeah, I think there's a little misconception that we know the answer. We're just not sharing it, a week or two out. But it's really a process that I think has gotten more healthy over the past few years, and that there's a little bit more input and a little more thought to trying the best you can. It doesn't work every year, but trying the best you can to get the right team in the right city in the right year that allows for a good matchup on the field, two, a new experience for the fans and the players in trying to avoid repetitive city trips, and then also some accessibility, from the city standpoint. So, I think from the process on the Big Ten, obviously we select right behind the Citrus and the Reliant Quest, formerly the Outback Bowl, and play the SEC in all three of those games. But there's also some twists and turns to it. We try to get 5 different teams in 6 years. We try not to go back to back with a team in the same city. And should certain things happen in the Orange Bowl, we slide up and pick second. So there's a lot of moving parts until you really know the final CFP standings and some of the New Year's Six appointments. It's hard to be very definitive. We try to be ready for 2 or 3 different scenarios. So on Sunday, we are readily, immediately available with all the information that fans and media are going to want to know.
And then it's obviously a bit unusual to have a situation where it's a repeat matchup with last year's Citrus Bowl matchup. Is that something that you like, dislike, are indifferent to?
Well, yeah, you're right. It's unusual, but we had or I had direct conversations with both schools, a week or so out. Said, hey, if we feel like this is the best opportunity to have Iowa here, we may have the opportunity to have Kentucky, and certain things align where we do have Kentucky. Are you okay with that? And if not, we'll go a different direction. And I think it was a real compliment to our city, or we took it that way, that both schools would rather have a repeat bowl game, even though it's the second time in their history they've ever played. So it's not like, they've been playing all the time, but in a different city, they felt like changed the whole dynamics. And we were very complimentary or complimented by that, and just move forward with it, because we felt like Iowa was the best selection out of the Big Ten for us this year, as was Kentucky and the SEC.
Are you then, because as you're making these picks, it's hard to know with the transfer portal and with bowl opt-outs what these teams are going to exactly look like. Are you just holding your breath here for these announcements?
Yeah, you kind of are in today's world. It's just impossible to predict. So we really do the best we can on feeling like on that Sunday or the week leading up to it, we've at least kind of identified the team that we'd prefer, and we're going to go with that team. And no, we can't control the opt-outs even if we tried. So hopefully, again, until the fans stop supporting the teams, we're going to kind of approach it that way.
Does it have an impact when a team like Iowa obviously hasn't necessarily had the prettiest of games with the offense? Is that something that gets factored in, or is it just a matter of, okay, they've got the fans, even if it's the 130th offense in the country?
Well, a little bit. I think everybody wants a close game. Everybody wants, one to come down to the last possession, and we laugh a little bit about last year to this year. If you didn't know, we had Tennessee Purdue last year, 1,250 total yards and all kinds of 48 to 45 shootout and overtime and all this. So we did have it come down the last possession last year. We're thinking it will come down the last possession here, but maybe not as many points scored, given the two defenses and how they've been playing. And Jack Campbell on your side of the ball. So, you'd love to have that, but I think first and foremost, John, we look at it and we're very open about this. Hey, we're doing this event to expose our city to two fan bases that we really want to reach out to and have them enjoy our city. We want the players to have a great time. We've got an unbelievable facility they stay in, Gaylord Opryland, especially around the holiday season. Indoor water park, river in the middle of the hotel. And then downtown, our downtown for fans is as good as it gets. We've got Cowboys Titans here on Thursday night. We've got a New Year's Eve concert that attracted over 200,000 people last year. We've got a Predators game on Tuesday night. So we're really using our sports and entertainment opportunities that are unique to our city in our downtown to really kind of hope fans come and enjoy themselves and want to come back. So we're not shy about that mission, but we certainly would like a close game, high ratings, great for our sponsor, great for our city as well.
How have ticket sales been so far?
A little bit slower, John, to be honest with you, than in past years, but kind of expected. I think it's pretty fair to say both teams probably had a little higher expectations for the season than they ended up, and we understand that in some years. And also our city sometimes success sometimes can create some challenges, and this year's one of them. The Cowboy fans had a 6-month head start on us on grabbing hotel rooms for the weekend, and it's creating a lot of squeeze there. So we're hopeful that the college fans in Iowa and Kentucky can find their way to come down and stay a few days with us. But the city's going to be electric. It's going to be dynamic and a lot of energy here.
I've been hearing every time that I tell people that I'm going to Music City Bowl, I keep on hearing you're in Nashville for New Year's Eve. So you've got a captive audience of Iowa fans here listening. What's your pitch if they're on the fence of, okay, do I make the trip to Nashville or do I stay home this year?
Fun. You'll have fun here. I guarantee it. Regardless of how the game goes or the offense or the defense dominates, I guarantee you can have fun here. If you can't have fun here, there's a different problem. But again, our city is just so unique in that our downtown is very compact. You don't need a car. Once you get downtown, everything's walkable from our stadium to our Broadway honky tonk live music components to hotels, to our arena where the hockey game will be played, and then walkable to the New Year's Eve concert over at the real near to downtown. So, everything's walkable, everything's compact. We have a campus kind of feel, and I guarantee you'll have fun.
It's hard to argue with fun.
Yes.
And probably a little warmer than in Iowa too, just to guess.
Yeah, I mean, we are in the Mid-South, so it's a little bit of a roll of the dice. I mean, we've had games kick off at 70 degrees, and we've had our 35-degree cold, rainy kind of field game. So in 25 years, we've had a little bit of everything, but hopefully it'll be an improvement from Iowa. And if nothing else, everything's close, and a lot of things are indoor with the exception of the game. So, come bear that element and have fun with us in Music City.
Well, Scott, thanks for joining me.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Look forward to seeing you.
Yes, me too. And thanks to our listeners for tuning into another episode of the Hawk Off the Press podcast. Until next week, we will talk Hawks later.